Hi guys, welcome back. Mr. N talking to you as usual, right? Unit 3.01, and you know what? I can add 3.02, adding and subtracting integers. For Unit 3, we're talking about operations with real numbers, right? Please check your emails. You should have, some information about taking the ACT test from your homeroom teachers. More about that in class. Hopefully we can make it today, right? Short rules about the absolute value. Guys, remember, if you have a number a, if your number a is positive, then its absolute value will be equal to itself. An example here, 2, and absolute value of 2 will be 2, right? If your number is negative, then absolute value of your number will be negative the number, right? The opposite of your number. So if you have absolute value of negative 2, its absolute value will be equal to minus negative 2 or negative 2, which is 2. Obviously, if your number is 0, absolute value of 0 is 0. Adding integers with the same sign. The rule says add their absolute values and keep their sign. As you can see, 3 plus 2 equals 5. Now that's no headache problem. But the next one, you have negative 3 plus negative 2. They have the same sign. You add 3 and 2, that will give you 5, and then keep the sign that each one had, right? When they have different signs, the rule says subtract the smallest number from the largest one. Like in this case here, negative 7 plus 6, you will do 7 minus 6, which is 1, but then you will keep the sign of your negative 7, right? Second example, 8 plus 4, you subtract 4 from 8, which gives you 4, and then you keep the sign of the largest number in absolute value, which is 8. Additive inverse property. We talk about properties of real numbers in Unit 2. What is that telling you? Well, over addition, if you're adding two opposite numbers, you will always get 0. Okay, and I hope everybody gets it. If you have any questions, let me know in class or send me an email. Subtraction rule. Now when you subtract, you will add its additive inverse, and some of you are already getting it, will be having a headache right now because you will say, what is that additive inverse? Well, additive inverse will be its opposite, right? So basically, in other words, in simpler words, when you subtract, you add the opposite of the number that gets subtracted. You're basically changing both signs, right? So as you can see, I had 8 minus negative 2. I changed both signs and I'm ending up with 8 plus 2, which obviously is 10. Do not panic. We'll do more examples in a second here, right? The second has passed. Find each sum or difference. Negative 17 plus negative 16. What is the rule? Well, first of all, I have same signs, which means my answer will have the same sign, and all I need to do in here would be to add 17 and 16. Well, 17 plus 16 gives me 33. Alright everyone, moving on. First of all, I mean, it's crazy here in Reno. There's a song out there, love is in the air, or here is pollen is in the air, and it's just driving me nuts. I'm in pain because of that. Hopefully you're not. Let's do problem number 2. 107 plus negative 40. We have two integers with different signs, right? What is the rule? The rule says subtract the smallest absolute value from the largest absolute value. So I have 107 minus 40. 0 out of 7 is 7. 4 out of 10 is 6, right? So the answer would be 67 in absolute value, and then I will keep the sign of the largest one positive, and that's why the answer here will be positive 67. Okay, number 3, I don't think I have to solve it for you. Please go ahead and find the answer to this one. It's basic addition. You probably learned this one in kindergarten. Okay, moving on. Same story here. we need to add. Now we don't have integers, but we have you know, like terms, okay? And obviously we're looking for the coefficients. You will go one step at a time in here, because order of operation says perform addition, subtraction, whichever comes first, left or right, okay? And I have 3m plus negative 15m. So basically you're talking about 3 plus negative 15, okay, because they have the same variable, they're like terms. You have two integers with different sign. You subtract the small one, 3, from the largest one, 15. That gives you 12, and you keep the sign of the largest one, negative 12. And will be negative 12m, right? Next thing, you have to take away 11m from it. Okay, so working only with the coefficients, you're going to say negative 12 minus 11 equals, right? What is the rule when you subtract? You add the opposite. You add the opposite of 11, which is negative 11. You're changing both signs. So now I have to add two integers with same sign. The answer will be having the same sign, and all I need to do is to add their absolute values. 12 plus 11, 23. Okay, and the answer here will be negative 23m, right? Because your variable was n. Let's do the next one. Number 8. Negative 6a plus 15a. What we have? Well, here we have the addition of two integers with different signs, right? The rule says subtract the smallest one from the largest one. And let's write it separate. I have negative 6 plus 15. Okay? Subtract 6 from 15. That will give you 9. Keep the sign of the largest one, which is positive. So this will equal to 9a. Negative 6a plus 15a equals 9a. Next, you add negative 11a to it. Once again, we have different signs. 9 plus negative 11. You will subtract the smallest number from the largest number, I mean the smallest absolute value from the largest absolute value. 11 minus 9 is 2, but then you keep the sign of the largest one, which is negative 2. So that way the answer here will be negative 2a. Questions? Let me know. Okay, next one. Negative 9y plus 20y. We have the addition of two integers with different sign. You subtract 9 from 20, right? That gives you 11y, and you keep the sign of the largest one, which is 20. 11y minus negative 6y. Now when I'm subtracting, I'm changing both signs, right? When I'm subtracting, I'm adding the opposite. And that gives me 11y plus 6y, that's 17y. Okay? And we're done. Make sense? Let's do a few more. Okay, find each sum or difference. Let's do more practice problems. Negative 94 plus negative 27, they have the same sign. The answer will be having the same sign, and all you need to do is add 94 plus 27, which you can do it this way, or you can just say 7 plus 4 is 11, right? 2 plus 9 is 11, plus 1 will be 12. Now if you don't believe me, you can go, you know, here, adding each column right to left. 7 plus 4, 11, right? 1 plus 9 plus 2 will be 12. 121, obviously negative 121. Next one. 47 plus negative 28, they have different signs. The answer will have the sign of the largest one in absolute value, will be positive. And next you only have to subtract 28 from 47. 8 out of 7, 8 out of 17, you have to borrow 1 from your 4, will be what? 9. 2 out of 3 will be 1. The answer here will be 19. Got it? Let's try one more. 38 plus negative 38. Basic rule, when you add two opposites, your answer will be 0. Okay? Alright, moving on with more practice here. Subtracting. 31 minus 12. The rule says when you subtract, you change both signs, right? I'm I'm changing both signs. I have 31 plus negative 12. I'm adding two integers with different signs. The largest one is positive. My answer will be positive. All I need to do is take 12 away from 31. 2 out of 1. You borrow 1, right? Will be 2 out of 11. 9. 1 out of 2. 1. The answer is 19. Keep the sign of the largest one. Positive 19. Alright? Next problem. 8 minus 79. When you subtract, you add the opposite. Your answer will have the sign of the largest one in absolute value. Will be negative. And you have to subtract the smallest absolute value from the largest one. That gives you 71. And the answer here will be 71. Okay? Next one. When you subtract, you change both signs. Alright? The answer will be negative because the largest one in absolute value is negative. You subtract the smallest absolute value, 11, from the largest absolute value. And that will give you what? 1 out of 6, 5. 1 out of 4, 3. The answer would be 35 with the negative sign because the largest number was negative. And you're done. Few more. Okay, 17 plus negative 23. They have different signs. The answer will have the sign of the largest one in absolute value. You just subtract the smallest one from the largest one. 7 out of 13 will be 6. 1 out of 1 will be 0. The answer will be negative 6. Got it? 47 plus negative 58. The largest one is negative. My answer will be negative. All I need to do is take away 47 from 58. 7 out of 8, 1. 4 out of 5, 1. The answer is negative 11. Okay? Negative 7 minus negative 31. When I subtract, I'm adding the opposite. I'm changing both signs. Okay, now I have negative 7 plus 31. The answer will be positive. All I have to do is take away 7 from 31, and that will be 24, right? So the answer will be 24. Moving on. Same story when you work with variables, with like terms, right? You just work with their coefficients. Here, I will add the opposite of 5z, which is negative 5z. I'm adding two integers with the same sign. Two integers with the same sign. I'm talking too fast here. The answer will be negative. And all you have to do is add 19 plus 5, which is 24. Your answer will be negative 24. Do not forget your z, right? Next problem, negative 11l plus negative 6l. They have the same sign. My answer will have the same sign. You add 11 plus 6, that will be 17. Do not forget about your variable, and you're done. Z minus 31z. When you subtract, you change both signs. Now I have z plus negative 31z. My answer will be negative because the biggest absolute value is 31. And I will take 1 away from 31 because that z implies that it has a coefficient of 1. So it will be 31 minus 1. Obviously 30 will be 30. Do not forget about z, right? More problems. Evaluate the expressions. Let's remember how to do this, right? If a equals negative 2, b equals 4, c equals negative 5. What I said, whatever you have a, you're going to plug in negative 2. Whatever you have b, you're going to plug in 4. Whatever you have c, you will plug in, you will substitute negative 5, one at a time. Problem number 31, you have negative 2 plus 12. Adding integers with different signs, right? You keep the sign of the largest one, subtract the smallest one from the largest one. 12 minus 2 will be 10, positive because the highest one was positive. B minus 8, well, your B is 4, right? So you have 4 minus 8. When you subtract, you change both signs, right? The answer here will have the sign of the largest one, negative. 8 minus 4 is 4. Your answer will be negative 4. 13 plus C. 13 plus your C is negative 5. you're adding two integers with different signs. Your answer will be positive, having the sign of the largest one, right? And just subtract 5 out of 13, which gives you 8. Okay, and that's the answer for this problem. Alright, let's talk about absolute value. Absolute value of A, right? What was A? A was -2. So this one equals absolute value of -2, which we know is the distance to 0 of -2, right? Of -2's location on number line, which is 2 units. 41. 3 plus C. Your C was -5. So you have to find the absolute value of 3 plus -5, which equals, right? Well, first you have to add -5 to 3 because they have different signs. Your answer will have the sign of the largest one, which is -5, right? Subtract 3 from 5, which gives you a 2. The answer is absolute value of -2, which is 2. Okay, the last one, negative absolute value of b minus 4. B was equal to 4, right? So let's do that substitution. You have negative absolute value of 4 minus 4. Well, 4 minus 4 is 0. The absolute value of 0 is 0, right? There's no -0, the answer would be 0. Okay, and this concludes the lesson of today. We'll see you guys in class in a few minutes. If you're watching this, try to remember the rules, right? When you add or subtract integers, there are a few basic rules. When you subtract, you change everything into an addition. You add the opposite. And then we'll take you back to the two rules for addition, same sign, different signs. And you know what? This works for all the real numbers, not just for the integers. I can put it right here. Or any real number. Or, you know, numbers. Okay? Thank you.